So I'm dealing with a seller right now, and like we came to agreement on price. She's ready to go. It's an eviction situation. Like we have all the numbers squared away, and all the terms are good to go. But there's still like hesitancy on her side, or like there's like a lack of urgency when it comes to actually putting pen to paper. Of course, it's with DocuSign, but I'm just in a space where it's like I thought we had an agreement, but there's no type of urgency on her end. So I wanted to ask you, when it comes to like sellers like not moving with urgency, do you always go at their pace, or is there ever a time where you like try to put, I guess, like pressure on them?
I don't put pressure on anybody that, and let me put it this way. I put pressure on people no different than when I would put pressure on my own family, right? Like, does it
Mm,
need to sell? Do you need to sell the house? If you do, I'm gonna start putting pressure on you because I don't want you to lose it. You know what I mean?
mm,
But if someone's an absentee owner and they're just renting the house and like I'm not gonna force them to sell me the house. Like I'm not running like a business that's an actual business in my opinion, like an honest business if I'm forcing people to sell me the home and I'm gonna have to use like these sales tactics that are like what solar salespeople
mm,
do, for example, right? Like, I'm here to be a resource to you. When you're ready to sell, I'm ready to help you. And here's everything you have at your disposal from an information perspective to make a decision. And if you have motivation to do so, then I'm here. But obviously I still have sales that I use. It's just from the perspective of like I'm giving them my honest opinion. So I don't force a deal. If
mm.
it has to be forced, then I feel like it either creates bad karma or it's not a deal to begin with. And there's people that do need to be helped. I just focus that energy instead on trying to find those people that are looking to be helped. And if you build up a portfolio of people enough that you have that relationship with where you're honest with them, like, hey, it doesn't matter to me. I can list, I can sell. Here's your options. I'm not going to force feed you, a sales pitch like other people will. But
Mm.
also, if I'm not gonna force feed you and just sell you, then I ask that you just be faithful to me, like I'm faithful to you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you gotta, if you feel like sometimes you gotta be honest with the seller like that too, because what they'll do
Mm.
is they wanted to be force fed. They wanted to, and you didn't see it. Like I had this happen to me with a seller earlier this year. Like
Mm.
they wanted to sell the fucking house that week, and I didn't feel those vibes because they were very standoffish, and I should have been aggressive and I wasn't, and someone else came along and they were aggressive and they got the deal. They paid more than I originally offered on it, but that happens
Mm.
sometimes when but also that same person wouldn't be talking to this guy like I just talked to because that guy wouldn't have vibed with the person who's just trying to sell them.
Right.
So you just got to kind of pick the way of sales that you are based on your personality and the type of business that you wanna run. I err to try to use a very standoffish, kind of like personality, and I think more people resonate with that than the ones that are super aggressive. But you just got to kind of you can be a balance between both. You got to be aggressive when you need to be, but you got to be
Mm.
calm when you need to be. It's kind of like the quote like about men. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but like, you got to be a gentleman like 90% of the time, and the other 10% of the time the other half of you comes out when it needs to, or I forget the exact quote, but it's the same kind of way. So anyway, I think that answers the question. But be patient with them because they're probably dealing with
Mm.
something. They're trying to make a decision, but make sure you give them the information they need to push them along based upon the need for them to do so. If they're going to foreclosure in 2 months from now, you got to wake them up, because they're going to have someone who doesn't care about their feelings, in 2 months from now, taking their home from them, So yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And other people may have a different opinion on that, but I feel like most of the SIF community operates in the same kind of way. I think we kind of attract those types of individuals. Now we do have some definitely more sales oriented, businesses, but I think most of us are building something a little bit differently than most of those ones. Matt doesn't even like have to